Hi, I'm maryjo with Fourth Dimension Healing in Stillwater, Minnesota, and I'm also the director of the Center for Crystal and Healing Studies, which is my online school where I offer courses in crystal healing, energy healing, and Reiki. Today I want to talk with you about Sunstone. Now, Sunstone, as its name implies, definitely is a gemstone that we work with, and when we do so, we're working with the element fire. So I want to show you some examples, the first being a piece that I actually work with in my healing practice. So you can see that we have some peaches, some oranges, white. Sometimes you'll see aspects of black in it as well. And Sunstone is a feldspar. Now, feldspar is a pretty common stone. Probably about 50% of all the rocks on the planet are actually forms of feldspar. Feldspar is a stone that is going to be connecting aluminum. It's considered an aluminum silicate, and it also has a number of different other mineral compositions as well. Elements such as sodium and potassium and calcium, perhaps lithium, are found in various types of feldspar. Feldspar has a hardness on the Mohs hardness scale of somewhere between 5.5 to 6.5. Sources vary a little bit, so I would say overall we're looking at about a 6. So it's softer than quartz, and it's harder than some of the other stones you may work with, such as fluorite and calcite and selenite, but it is not particularly strong. So it will tend to get nipped up with quartz. And the reason I say this is that quartz is found in many stones as well. And so just be very mindful when you're working with your crystals and gemstones that you know what they are, you know what their hardness is, so that you're storing them appropriately, okay? So Sunstone, we're working with fire, which means we're working with the second and third chakra primarily. And so the second chakra is about that creative energy. Third chakra is about empowerment, and that's where Sunstone comes in so beautifully. It is a stone that helps us connect with that empowered, balanced energy within us. It's a stone that helps us be in that leadership role, whether it is at a professional work level or if it is working with perhaps some volunteer opportunities that you're involved in. It could be even within your home or your community, how it is that you step into that role of being able to be a dependable presence in a way that's balanced. I have found when I'm working with Sunstone that it has this sense of this can-do attitude, and also it has this sense of clarity. So sometimes when I'm not quite sure how I should be moving forward with a particular activity, especially when I know that I'm going to be more in charge or in that role of being looked at to be able to have some decisions, then what I would like to do is work with Sunstone because it helps bring me some more clarity. So I wanted to show you a couple other examples of the Sunstone that I carry in my shop that's pretty representative of what I have available right now. Here, for example, is a piece that has a fair amount of that darker mineral within it. When you're working with Sunstone, and I guess I would say with this darker black, it reminds me of that grounding, earthing energy. So even though Sunstone really does resonate with fire, you're going to find pieces perhaps that you work with that connect you a little bit lower in your energy field. Or for example, I'm going to show you this other piece once again. This one with its white reminds me also of those upper chakras, particularly that crown chakra that is typically represented either as a violet or as white. So connecting with a piece of Sunstone that has a fair amount of the white represented within it is this way to invite down that higher spiritual guidance into that leadership, into that empowered, balanced state. This one might be very effective to work with, for example, if you are empowered, you're stepping into your power, you're really in this role and balanced, and yet you want to remain in that space. Working with that earth energy to hold you in that balance can be really helpful. Here's another example of a piece. These pieces are nice and flat. They often will have this flatness. They have a triclinic structure, if we were to look at them microscopically. And essentially it means that these molecules are stacked on top of each other, almost like trapezoids. And so trapezoids are more like these opposing aspects of the actual crystalline structure. So working with Sunstone can be a great way if we are working with some of those opposing forces. So maybe you are being invited into a leadership role and you sure are not comfortable in that role. That's not something that you're used to really stepping into. Working with Sunstone, again, could be a great way to be able to bring that into more of an integrated aspect of yourself. I also currently, and they don't hang around for long, but I also have some gemstones that are Sunstone. So slipping gemstones on your wrist, slipping a tumble piece into your pocket, perhaps slipping a piece inside your pillowcase at night. Those are all ways that you can gradually work with those energies and those properties that Sunstone brings in. Working with a piece, for example, holding it during meditation, that is a way that you can have a really wonderful, deeper, more intense, shorter period of time, so it's more intensive work, and that may only be for 10 or 15 or 20 or 30 minutes. So there are lots of ways that you can work with gemstones and crystals. So that's a little bit about Sunstone. So we know it's a feldspar, which is common. We know it's a kind of mid-range hardness. We understand that because of its triclinic structure, we're going to be having some opposing forces that it can help us sort out. So it's just a really fabulous stone to work with for personal use, as well as perhaps creating a crystal grid that you want to work with several of the sunstones to be able to really empower the work you're doing through the grid. So check out my online shop if you'd like to learn more about Sunstone. Feel free to send me any questions you have, either through my chat that is part of my webpage, or you can send me an email. For now, I simply wish you many blessings. Be well.